In June 2025, a simmering conflict between Israel and Iran exploded into open war. Tensions that had been building for years, through covert operations, cyber attacks, and proxy battles, finally erupted into a direct military confrontation. The world watched in disbelief as the fragile balance in the Middle East shattered overnight, sending shockwaves through global capitals and financial markets. Israel launched a major air campaign, striking deep into Iranian territory with precision and speed. Within days, President Trump made a dramatic announcement. The United States would commit its military might to support Israel, targeting Iran's nuclear program with overwhelming firepower. The skies above the region lit up as American and Israeli jets flew in tight formation, unleashing a barrage of missiles and bombs. The U.S.-Israeli operation focused on Iran's most fortified nuclear sites, Natanz, Fordow, and Esfahan, using massive bunker-buster bombs designed to penetrate deep underground. These facilities, long suspected of housing Iran's most advanced nuclear work, became the epicenter of the conflict. Satellite images captured the devastation as explosions rocked the heavily guarded compounds. The goal was clear: cripple Iran's nuclear ambitions in a single, decisive blow. Military analysts pored over the aftermath, assessing the damage to Iran's centrifuges and enrichment capabilities. The hope was that this show of force would set back Iran's nuclear program by years, if not decades, and send a powerful message to Tehran and its allies. Iran retaliated swiftly, launching a barrage of missiles at Israeli cities and a U.S. military base in Qatar. The strikes caused chaos and destruction, killing civilians and military personnel alike. For Washington, this escalation provided the justification for direct American intervention, transforming a regional conflict into a crisis with global implications. The Trump administration framed the attack as a necessary response to Iranian aggression and a move to obliterate Iranian nuclear facilities. U.S. and Israeli officials spoke of defending democracy and stability in the region, while critics warned of the dangers of a wider war. The rhetoric grew more heated as both sides dug in, unwilling to back down. This was a high-stakes gamble, shifting from years of sanctions and diplomacy to direct military force. The era of negotiations and back-channel talks was over, replaced by the thunder of warplanes and the uncertainty of open conflict. The world braced for what might come next. The world watched, knowing the risks. A wider war. In the aftermath, Washington and Jerusalem declared total victory to the world. President Trump announced the strikes had obliterated Iran's nuclear program, calling it a historic win for global security. U.S. intelligence chief Tulsi Gabbard echoed this, claiming Iran's facilities were destroyed and years would be needed to rebuild. Israeli leaders, including Prime Minister Netanyahu, hailed the operation as a game-changer, saying the nuclear threat was eliminated. The official message: the mission was accomplished, the threat was gone, and the world was safer. But beneath the triumphant rhetoric, doubts began to surface. Inside the U.S. intelligence community, a different story emerged. A leaked Defense Intelligence Agency report contradicted the White House, saying the strikes only set Iran's program back by a few months. In other words, the attack was not game-changer. Despite the use of bunker busters, Iran's core underground facilities remained largely intact. The White House dismissed these findings, insisting on total success, but the rift was public and growing. The truth was unclear. Had the strikes truly crippled Iran's nuclear ambitions? Or was the victory more illusion than reality? The world was left to wonder if the threat had really been neutralized or merely delayed. A closer look revealed a mixed outcome. The strikes collapsed entrances to Natanz and Fordow, trapping equipment and blocking access, but failed to destroy the underground enrichment halls. Iran's advanced centrifuges likely survived, protected by layers of rock and concrete. At Esfahan, surface buildings were wrecked, but Iran's enriched uranium stockpiles had been dispersed and survived. The attacks disrupted operations and bought time, but didn't eliminate Iran's nuclear capability. Iran faced logistical nightmares, but the core of its program, machinery and material, remained. The operation was a setback, not a knockout. Iran's nuclear ambitions were bruised, not broken. The real strength of Iran's nuclear program lies not just in its facilities or its centrifuges, but in its people, the scientists, engineers, and students who have spent years mastering complex nuclear science. This deep reservoir of knowledge and technical skill is what truly sustains Iran's ambitions, making the program resilient in the face of outside pressure or attack. Decades of expertise can't be bombed away. Iran's scientists and engineers still hold the keys to the nuclear puzzle. Even if physical sites are damaged, the intellectual capital remains ready to rebuild and adapt. This human infrastructure is far harder to target than any building or machine. Independent analysts around the world agree, the strikes, while dramatic, couldn't erase Iran's nuclear potential. The knowledge and experience embedded within Iran's scientific community are not so easily destroyed. Many experts warned that such attacks might even strengthen Iran's resolve. Iran's nuclear network is redundant and widely dispersed, with facilities spread across the country and possible secret sites that remain untouched by the attacks. This web of locations makes it nearly impossible to eliminate the program entirely through military means. The most sensitive work may have gone deeper underground, now even harder to monitor or reach. Iran has invested heavily in fortifying its most important assets, building bunkers and tunnels designed to withstand even the most powerful strikes. Military strikes can delay, but not destroy, a nation's nuclear knowledge or ambition. The physical damage is often superficial compared to the enduring determination and expertise that drive the program forward. As long as Tehran's will remains strong, so does the threat. The leadership's commitment, combined with public support and national pride, ensures that the nuclear program will continue in some form. The world now faced a more elusive, determined Iran, one that had learned from the attacks, adapted its strategy, and remained committed to its nuclear ambitions, no matter the obstacles. After 12 days, a ceasefire was brokered, halting the violence but not the underlying tensions. The Trump administration claimed its show of force brought Iran to the table, but the peace was fragile. In protest, Iran suspended all cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, ending international oversight. Without inspectors, the world lost its eyes on Iran's nuclear activities. Global leaders alarmed called for renewed diplomacy and urgent restoration of monitoring. The ceasefire paused the fighting but shattered trust and transparency. The region was left in a tense limbo with peace hanging by a thread. Did the strikes work? That's the question echoing across capitals and command centers worldwide as the dust settles over Iran's nuclear sites. The world watched in suspense, hoping for a decisive end to a long-standing threat. If the goal was to end Iran's nuclear program once and for all, the answer is clear: no. The strikes, while dramatic, were never a silver bullet. The attacks caused significant damage and set back Iran's progress, but the country's core scientific capability and technical knowledge survived the assault. Iran's nuclear ambitions, built over decades, cannot be erased overnight. In the aftermath, regional tensions soared to new heights. International oversight collapsed, as inspectors were forced out and transparency vanished. The nuclear threat didn't disappear, it simply went deeper underground, hidden from the world's eyes. By choosing force over diplomacy, the United States may have inadvertently pushed Iran closer to developing a secret bomb, rather than deterring it. The path of confrontation often breeds more secrecy and determination. Iran retains not only the means, but also the will to continue its nuclear pursuits. The expertise, infrastructure, and motivation remain intact, fueling a race that is now even harder to monitor. The timeline for a potential nuclear weapon may have been delayed, but the underlying danger persists. The world faces a more unpredictable and volatile situation than before. The global community now finds itself in a more uncertain era, where the path to peace is steeper and the stakes are higher. Every decision carries new risks and consequences. The lesson is stark: bombs can destroy buildings, but they cannot destroy ambition or erase knowledge. The spirit of determination often grows stronger in the face of adversity. Let me know your thoughts, leave your comment. Thanks for tuning in, like, share, and subscribe for more information.